Welcome back to another SuperCoach video with me, JD. You're joining me for the round 6 review, where of course we go through the team, what happened in the week. We talk some trades, captains, vice captains, all that good stuff. And I'm going to try and get into a chipper mood, despite having to watch Essendon choke away a 5-6 goal lead in the fourth on Anzac Day. Just, yeah, see one too many of those in my lifetime already. So look, we'll move on quickly from that, even though we will need to talk about a little bit of Dacos, a little bit of Ridley, a little bit of Setterfield from that game, and go to the team itself. So, as you can see, posted a good score this week, but I would classify this as a bad good week, a good bad week, a bad good week. So the score is very good, and I've moved up a lot of spots, over 10,000 spots. We're in the top 3K now. So, I mean, if we look at the history of the team, it is going up pretty quickly, but it's a bad week in the sense that traded in Roberts, traded in Took Miller, traded in Johnson. So, those are going to hurt us in the long run. All right, yeah. The last 3 weeks have been pretty good. 20K, 13K, top 3K now. So that's good. So, yeah, as mentioned, the trades were Roberts, Johnson, and actually, we'll just bring up the history here. Trade history down the right-hand side. So Ashcroft, Jimby, and Baker out. And I traded Ashcroft over Chandler, which looks to be a pretty good move so far. And then Johnson, Miller, and Roberts in. So, yeah, Miller and Roberts both getting injured in the same week really hurts because, honestly, I don't think I was that far off the weekly win. Let's just have a quick look at what the 2-4-6-1. Maybe that would have got me even if I had better captains going on. He had a Ridley owner as well. Fellow Ridley owner, respect. Oh, wow, Libba and Dangerfield. No, there's probably no way I was catching this. I mean, if I had a good rookie score, I could maybe catch 50 points there, but this is pretty nice. Okay, so I probably wouldn't have got there, but I would have had a top 10, I reckon, if no injuries. But you can't predict that stuff, and I saw a lot of people beating themselves up, which is like, I was going to go Sinclair, or I was going to go Parrish, or I was going to go Butters. And reality is none of them really performed that well on the weekend. And admittedly, there's Parrish. What did he score in the end? A 110. He kind of salvaged a bit of a score. But the reality is none of them looked really good. And to be honest, neither did Took before his injury, to be perfectly honest. But if you've been living under a rock, it appears to be an MCL and will be out for the short to medium term. It doesn't sound like it's a 1 or 2 week short term. It sounds more like a be back around the buys type thing. So he's going to be a must trade, and we'll talk through trade options as well. But yeah, a lot of people being a little bit of hindsight, I was going to do this, going to do this, going to do it. But the thing is, you have to follow the process, and sometimes you just get unlucky, right? There's no way of predicting that he was going to tear his knee half into that game. It's just not going to happen. So yeah. Okay, let's have a quick look at the leagues this week, because the FantasyTakeTV leagues, of course, have been doing well overall. Just have a quick check-in on those. Yep, still the top 6, it appears. Cool. Top 7 now. Still we're top 7 leagues, okay. Oh, wow, we still had the top weekly score as well, which is pretty interesting, because a lot of our leagues a lot of us didn't do particularly good. I think we're the top 2 here as well. Because a lot of people did the same trades I did, so Took and Roberts. We don't have any 16 or 14-man teams. 12, I think we dropped a little bit there. 10 on top, 8 on top, and then 6 third. Okay, so still going well overall on the leagues. All right, so then just quickly through my team, down back. So Dacos continues to be very, very good. I didn't think he was particularly great this game, but the fourth quarter where he kicked those 2 goals was obviously quite clutch and helped him get an Anzac Day medal as well. So yeah, he did well. Continues to score well, 135 average. I think every week I've said that he is the #1 trade target, and if you check my trade history, it was the first thing I did in round 2 as well, was get in Dacos. So yeah. If you didn't start him, I don't think it's an excuse not to have him now, because he should have just been it was very obvious value, even at, I don't know, yeah. Stewart was good, back-to-back weeks now. Yeah, nothing to complain about with Stewart, really. The only thing I wanted to check was quickly his kick-ins and how those changed, because there seemed to be games where he wasn't getting as much. Had a monopoly on them. That's very nice. Mitch Duncan wasn't very good. Cool. So yeah, happy with Stewart. Obviously picked him over at a discount over Dawson. I think over the 2 weeks that's kind of worked out so far, although I expected Dawson to bounce back. Ridley, I felt he was underscored. There were a couple of tackles and a spoil or two they didn't mark of his, so that held his score down. And then, yeah, I mean, he was tracking for a much better score, but just like the rest of Essendon fell apart in the fourth. Zeeble was good, continues to be good. At 350k, he's been a blessing. He's already made over 110k, and he looks like a keeper, that low 102 average. And then Sheasel, I guess, is a big talking point for the week. What do we do with him? And I guess for those that don't have Took and maybe don't have Setterfield either, who some of the trade targets we'll talk about, potentially jumping off Sheasel is something you could do. Now, just quickly, what happened with Sheasel? So he had the thumb injury. He had the corky that he was recovering from. He got tagged by Holman, and then they rotated him forward throughout that game. And then, of course, Hall came into the side as well. So there's like 5 different things that could have been affecting his scoring. And so it's really hard to know, is this the new trend? Are they going to continue to play him forward? Is Hall going to affect his scoring, etc., etc.? Or is it a blip in the radar and he's still the keeper that we were kind of hoping he might be? So for those that don't have any of these other issues, he is someone you could potentially try jumping off this week to get a head start on the competition. You trade out Sheasel, you bring in another premium, and you try and get ahead if you believe that this poorer scoring persists, because if he scores another 50 like this and his role gets moved around, he plays a half forward, he plays a half back, whatever, then I think he is someone that we are going to look to trade on anyway. And so you could potentially get a week up on the competition by doing that. But of course, it is risky. What if everything goes back to normal next week? We don't really know what's going to happen. Just quickly checking the kick-ins. So Zeeble still got his fair share, but it looks like Sheasel lost basically the 2 or 3 was getting a game, and that went to Hall. So that is a little bit of a problem. Probably does affect Zeeble a little bit as well. So yeah, I'm not in a position to trade out Sheasel this week. I don't think. I've got bigger issues, bigger problems to solve. But that is one that people can start to think about. Maybe if you don't have any of these problems and you want to take a risk to get ahead, then trading Sheasel is one that you consider. I'm not sure I'd do it even in those situations, but that's probably the only people I could really push for trading Sheasel now. The exception to this would be if we hear from Kleiko this week and Kleiko starts talking about Sheasel playing forward with ball more and they're going to experiment with his role from here on out. I think we could probably just jump off him, to be perfectly honest. If it's not, we're going to continue to play him behind the ball, then we can probably just get off. McKenna is one, and we'll start to look at break evens here. That I think you can probably get off. So 62 break even here, which is below his average so far, his average of 71. But since Rich came back, which was, 2 rounds ago, he's gone 55 and 57. So mid-50s in both those games. I think the only reason why you might want to hold him is because he plays Freo this week, who have been pretty poor. And I believe they've been giving up decent scores to defenders. So McKenna, he's also been struggling from just only playing 2-3 quarters a game and then kind of ghosting for a couple of others. But yeah, this is someone that I'm in favor of probably moving off this week if it enables good trades. He's starting to get to the top of his price rise at 302k, and that good score drops off from the system. So yeah, I mean, he's gone below the 62 last 2 weeks. You can probably move on. Wilmot and Cowan, both poor. Wilmot's break even is now 38, which he should definitely be able to hit this week, because even though he had a 39, which is just below, that is easily his worst score. The next worst after that was a 50. So he said all other 50s and then this 39. He's someone that you could hold on for one more week just to see if he can kickstart his cash gen before moving him on. And then Cowan continues to be a really poor rookie for us, if I'm being perfectly honest. Not loving owning him, and I'm sure a lot of others in the same boat. Sincotta, who came in and played really well this week, looks like he should go past him, to be perfectly honest, especially given that Carlton are now in the hole a bit. I'm not sure if they have the luxury of playing these younger guys and developing them when they need to win games. So I'd imagine Sincotta actually holds over Cowan when Side comes back, when Doherty comes back. But let's see what happens this week. There are a number of other players that were poor, or at least poorer than Cowan, but are more established. So I'm not sure what they're going to do with teams. If he holds, even though his break-even's 41, which is about his average, there's not a lot of money in this rookie. So if he's still getting games, I'd prefer to hold, especially if, West Coast this week. Hopefully he gets a decent score. But these two are not great rookies, and they're not really good bench cover, because you don't want to be playing either of them. And that's one of the things that helped me this week, is when I saw Wilmot's 39, I said, there's no way I'm fielding Cowan. I'd rather risk Fergus Green or Ryan. And so I moved Sheasel and Zeeble into defense, and then made myself field a rookie up front. So I avoided that. In the so just no, we'll talk trade tags then. I won't jump to that. In the mid, so Bontempelli vice captain Friday night, and I think this is pretty fortunate. I was tossing it between English and Bont, like many other people, and I don't know why, but gut reaction 20 minutes out just said this is a big Bont night. Could kind of just see it coming. Wasn't to do with the Trek matchup. I thought English would go around 130 as well, but I just thought there was a potential ceiling game from Bontempelli tonight where he strings 4 quarters together, and we saw that, kicked the 2 goals, had 10 tackles, a complete performance from him start to finish. So yeah, I feel bad for anyone that vice captained English instead and took a 131, which is great basically any other week, but Bont was very, very good. Miller is the unfortunate injury, which we'll talk about, but that looks like a must trade. And then Kelly, well, Kelly's my only other premium mid, and I finally got a really good game out of him, but it's a bit hard to take much out of this. I mean, it wasn't a loss, which is promising because, and again, it's a good side as well, like in the lines. It's not a soft matchup, and part of the worry about GWS was they're going into this stronger fixture of games. Could they score well in those? So it was really nice to see that him score well against the Lions, and a 140, which is great. Rewards the faith a little bit. Still cheap for those that are interested in getting on. He's actually 3K down in his starting price, which is amazing. But no Tom Green in the side really, I think, helps his scoring. And Cogs was the other one, which we'll talk about in my forward line, who benefited from that as well. I think with Green coming back, even though that's great for my team because I don't have to play someone like Matty Roberts, it's gonna then affect their scoring, and probably owning all three of these I can't imagine is actually the right play. But maybe Perryman coming back and doing more of that defensive stuff actually frees up some of the scoring that Kelly, Green, and Cogs can get, and we see them progress well from here. Taranto was huge. I thought he was basically best on ground for that game. I thought he probably deserved the medal over Vine, but yeah, just on the losing side. So you don't really get those, but not the best ball use at times, but actually I thought it was pretty good for most of this game, and he was popping up in really nice spots around the ground. And yeah, I just liked his game. He was a pretty obvious start, and I think most serious coaches have got him, so there's not really too much to say about it. Yeah, just high 70s kind of CBAs every week. He's 114 now, which I believe is the highest averaging forward because Sheasel's gone back. It beats out Dunkley. Maybe there's someone like Jez Cameron, but I think Taranto's F1 for now. And it probably stays that way. I think his role is good enough that he actually outperforms Dunkley from here, just given that system doesn't seem to be scoring as well. Green, good to have him back because now, like I haven't done trades yet, but I'm down to 1, 2, 3, 4 rookies on field. I'm going to try and get that down to 3 this week. And that's, spoiler alert for trades, was just trying to get rookies off the field. And this week was a perfect example why, because there were so many minds to catch. Hopper, I thought was good again. Faded a little bit in the second half. This could have been a bigger score, but yeah, really pleasing. The 94 backing up the 115 here, which means he went up 22K this week. He's got a break even of 39, which he should crush against Gold Coast. And he looks like, I mean, after Gold Coast, I've got West Coast as well. So 2 really nice matchups. And then even Geelong's midfield hasn't been particularly good. So these next 3 fixtures, I can see myself holding him through all of these and hopefully being one of my last upgrades before, if he gets up to 480, something like that, I can cash him in with a 1 up, 1 down to one of those sub 600K guys. Maybe even someone like Steele, if he finds form, make a bit of money off that. It could be someone like Miller around the buys when Miller comes back, these types of options. But yeah, he's really good. And then Warple got the second great week of no Will Day on the side. So 198 of these two. Made some nice money over the last couple of weeks, another 30K. Break even of 25. So I'm holding him this week no matter what against the Dogs, which probably won't be a great score for him. And then if he does score right, I'll probably try and hold against Freo as well. But he's someone that I think regresses a little bit when Day comes back into the side, and that means he's probably going to be traded out the next week or 2, but been good hold during Day's suspension. You can see Day, his kind of trend here, he was like low or mid 50 CBAs and then bumped up a nice 20% the last couple of weeks with Day out. I think Day coming back in, they'll put him back up to this 80% or, at least somewhere between 65 and 82. And I think that probably comes off Warple and maybe Newcomb, even though they've both been good. Maybe a little bit off Nash too. Mackenzie probably got more than he otherwise would just because he was the sub. So yeah, really happy with these two mid prices, and I think it looks like the 4 correct mid prices to have. That was kind of like the right structure was Zeeble, Hopper, Warple, and Setterfield. I of course traded Setterfield 2 weeks ago for those that remember, and that seemed to be perfect timing to be honest, because I think he's a must trade for many others. Well, not a must trade, but he's someone that people will be looking to move on this week. So I think I traded him for 444 exactly or something like that, and he's stayed flat more or less over the next 2 weeks with a 76 and an 85. What was that score? 91. So just average scores. But yeah, he's break even is now what, 88. You can actually hold. It's fine. That's perfectly fine. Hold, especially against cats. But yeah, he is also someone, if you don't have any other issue, if you don't have a Took issue, for example, then Setterfield, you could cash him in this week for sure and upgrade. I think that's a perfectly fine, especially if you've got like Hopper and Warple, you're not moving these two on. Hollands, I thought was good. Felt like he was a little bit underscored, but yeah, happy with him. Break even in the low 30s, and I'm happy to field him against West Coast at Optus. Optus usually pretty good for wings, and it's a soft matchup, so I'd expect a reasonable showing out of Hollands, even though he continues to play that fat side wing, which is typically a bit of a dead role, but his ability to run up and down the ground is holding him in good stead. Johnson, I'm not sure if he holds this week, to be perfectly honest. Maybe he does, but yeah, this wasn't good. Roll wasn't good. Matchup this week isn't good. He nowhere near my field is where Roberts will live this week. And then, I mean, this bench is woeful. I mean, even these two here, right? Like this cash gen is not good. And that's going to be the problem because even though I'm going to try and get down to just the 3 rookies on field this week, finishing those last 3 is tough. And then I've somehow got to find a way to actually get in some of the good players in here still, like a Laird, and Oliver, these types of things. Tough. And I've still got to like get a Dawson, which I don't have at the moment. So yeah, tough. And Constable continues to do well in the 2s, but I until the injury happens, I think he's not coming back in the side. Maybe we'll be surprised, but yeah, that money's just stuck there. Rucks, we will talk about Grundy because there'll be questions about Grundy for sure. But yeah, English, very good. Marshall was okay this week. Had a negative ratio again, which is a little bit unfortunate. Break even 132 against North. At least it's a nice matchup. But yeah, Grundy's time on ground fell off this week pretty hard with Gorn back in. I think if you've got Grundy, I'd probably just be looking to trade. And I'd probably still get to English, even though he's 680k. He's just the clear ruck one at the moment. Hawthorn is a soft matchup. GWS is a soft matchup. Carlton is a soft matchup. So these next 3 he should all continue to do well against. I can't see a world where you justify going Darcy over him, despite the fact that Darcy's been very good himself, played a great game against English. And then the only other option I think you could really even look at is Gorn, who dropped 54k after what he's 98, and he looked okay but not great. But he's got another massive break even again, 228 break even. So he's going to drop more cash, and then that's something that you could potentially look to do for those that want to get off Marshall. Like maybe you can side swap Marshall to Gorn after next week. Like into Wits though, probably not great. Yeah, but I mean he's going to lose like another. Well, projected score's wrong. It won't be 70, it'll be 100, but he'll probably lose another 50k and he'll be sub 500, which is good value for Gorn for sure. But yeah, I don't know. If you're a Grundy holder, could you like cover with Ryan or Radicalia for a week and then go Grundy to Gorn next? It's probably just not worth it over trading to English this week, if I'm being perfectly honest. But I think that's the only other reasonable option I could consider. And that's, Gorn has to look good and all that jazz. But yep, these are the rucks. I mean, I think, you'd rather have Darcy here right now, but that's fine. And then in the forwards, so Dunkley was okay. Rosie was really good. Cogs was really good. Goulden was bad. And people will probably ask, is he a trade? I don't think he is. I mean, like, low 90s is not ideal. But the Swans as a whole have been bad. Like, Mills, Warner, all those guys are down. I think they'll find their rhythm and click. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks. So I wouldn't trade Goulden. That's the type of luxury fix-up that I might do at the end. And given I've been using boosts aggressively, I've got 1 left, as you can see. I'm not in a position to trade Goulden. For those that are, like, I just think getting rookies off the field is better than stuffing around with players like Goulden. Chandler was really good. I think kicked 3 goals in this game and restarted his cash gen. So nearly up at 300k now. Break even of 30. North, Gold Coast, Hawks the next 3. These are good fixtures. I was looking at moving Chandler on this week originally, just because McKenna and Chandler would have let me, get Will Day and a rookie and been done. But yeah, with the cash where it's at, I just have to let Chandler ride. And then Green was really good this week as well. Like he's taken on that role as kind of like number one forward the last couple of weeks and done a mint job of it. The only problem is that Mitch Lewis, I believe, is coming back this week, or he's a test, or he's due to come back. So I'm not sure if I love Green as an on-field option, especially against the Dogs. If he's getting someone like a Jones as a matchup, probably not great for scoring, but his break-even is 4, which is nice. He's going to continue to make a little bit more cash. He's probably going to be a trade out in 2 weeks, I'm guessing, round 9. But he'll be in the 300k mark at that point, unless he really drops a poor game, and that's great. I mean, yeah, he's at the 150k mark, exactly what you want to see out of your rookies. Davey returned today and was just playing like a pressure role more than anything else. It wasn't like he kicked a goal, which saved his score, but wasn't particularly great. He probably holds his spot. There was a bunch of Essendon, like the Essendon Smalls are all a bit strange today. Caldwell's likely to go out with a suspension because he gave Dacos a whack to the ribs, so that'll be who Merritt comes in for. And then I'm not sure Hobbs holds. I don't know if his effort as sub was good enough, but I have to go back and have a look at like how Snelling and Menzies did figure out what happens with Davey. I think he, like, given he got rested, came in, pressured hard and kicked the goal, holds his spot, but who knows. And then Ryan, my boy, so I picked him up over JVR, and I'm feeling a little bit like, even though I think it was the right call, JVR was a few minutes away from being subbed in that game and then probably playing 2s next week. And instead he ended up kicking 3 goals, going bigger on the cash gen. I'm scared to even look. And then really getting his job security for a couple more weeks at least. So he's back into -8. He's going to make a ton more money. So this is a little bit annoying because I think Ryan was the better pick in the end, but it is what it is. -17 for Ryan. It's good. He's got some of these bad scores out of the, sub scores and stuff out of his system. Gold Coast, West Coast, next couple. But yeah, he's going to make money, which is good. At least I'm happy with that pick. All right, so trades. I think I've already talked about a lot of the big ones. Grundy, I'd move on unless you've got really, tons of other issues like injuries such as Miller. And then, yeah, English is probably a target for him. Setterfield, I think you can move on this week, but it's not a problem to hold in the back line. I'd only be really looking at moving on Sheasel if you have no other issues. Miller is, of course, a trade. And then in terms of the rookies, it's just break-even game. I moved on Ashcroft last week. I wonder what he scored well. He could have scored much bigger. He had a decent, he had like a 33-point first quarter. I mean, he scored 70s again. So this is like type of rookie you want on field. Freo's a good matchup. 50 on break-even. You can hold or trade either way. All right, so for me, I want to get McKenna off. Actually, let's activate that boost because I'm going to have to use it, which is unfortunate because any other injuries are really going to disrupt upgrade cadence from here for me. So I think ideally I'd get rid of someone like McKenna, Miller, and Wilmot. And then I want to bring in Will Day because that is at least, I mean, I'd rather have Will Day over a rookie, and I think he's going to be thereabouts as a keeper. In the last 3 games, just have a quick look here. CBA. So in the last 3, he was, 63, 65, 82. And then game 1, he didn't really play in the midfield that much. And over that period, his last 3 games, he went, where are you? 115 average. So does it persist at that higher level? Probably not. But I think like Day is someone that I really want. And then of the rookies, there's a few that we'll have a look at. I guess like I can talk through them quickly. So Wagner is the mature age one that was in our preseason teams. He had a better score this week, but I still don't think he looked particularly good. Chapman is a test to come back this week. I'm not sure if he survives Chapman out. From the same team, you've got Sturt. Oh, it won't let me do it because I am in this thing. Who I thought played, he kicked 2 goals, and Frederick's out for a month, Fife's out. So I think his job security is actually all right. He's looked good when he's been in the side. He's mature age as well. He is someone that you could look to get as a forward. I think the problem is that if a lot of people, might have like Green, Chandler, JVR, Ryan, Radaglia, Davey, Roberts now. There's just like, do you really need another forward? And that's probably the thing I struggle with Sturt. Maybe some do, and I think he's an okay option. But then Seamus Mitchell is the one that looked like he really played himself into the side in the Hawks team. So I like him as an option. They're developing youth. I think there's a good chance they persist with him. And then I just need to find out what I'm going to do in the midfield, because that's where I probably wanted to get an upgrade, and I probably want it to be someone like Merritt, but I think he's 580, isn't he? I haven't touched trades. Oh, that's so annoying. I'm 2k off. Oh, no, killer. All right, I'll have to rethink who the trade-in target is now. It was originally like maybe like Sinclair's a backup option here at 540k. It's not bad. I've just got to quickly like count. So I've got Dacos, Stewart, Ridley, and I do want to move on Ridley eventually if I can. Zeeble, Sheasel, Day, Sinclair. So that's like 7. And in the forwards, I've got Dunkley, Rosie, Cogs, Goulden, Taranto. So I could move in Sinclair. I could get Butters, I guess, who I still like as an option. But I'd rather get a mid. I really need to start getting some mids. So I wonder if there's any like decent mids I can get under 580. That's a worry. Probably don't want it to be Parrish, even though he was all right today. No to Danger, no Trucker, no Kelly, no Mitchell. Oh no, this is bad. Mills, not until the defenders come back. Is that this week? Maybe. Even then, I assume he's got a bad break even. I could like wait longer. 122. It's okay. LDU looks like he might be carrying something. Oh, people have been asking, can they trade him? I guess if you don't have other issues, you could probably trade him. Like, that's probably fine. Brayshaw still needs to turn it around. Oh, this is not good. Oh, I can't believe I'm 2k off. That is so painful. Like, Miller, why couldn't you have got injured on like a 45 or something? Players I can afford. I mean, I guess, yeah. Steel, no good. I mean, yeah, what's his break even? 169. He's going to lose a bunch of cash. He's going to be a cheap upgrade target for us. Okay, well, leave it with me. Sure, it was good, but I don't think I'd be going there. Leave it with me. I got to figure out what this trading target is. It is really looking like it's Sinclair, because I do not like any of these cheaper midfield options at the moment. That is so painful. I can't believe how unlucky that is. Where did Mills is there? Yeah, like it's Parrish from this list probably, and I don't like that as an option. Now I've lost my train of thought for where I was for everything else as well, just because I had disappointed I am over this. Okay, so yeah, I got to figure that out. It's probably Sinclair. Let's just do Sinclair for now. So at least the trade's in there. But yeah, yikes. I can't believe I missed out on Merritt by that much. What's his break even now? 117. Port's not a good matchup. I don't love that. North is okay afterwards, at least Adelaide, Jitterverse, Forks. I mean, there's some nice fixture in here in the bye. Should be able to cover that first round bye pretty easily. I'll just have a quick look at that. Whoops, that's not buys. Playing in round 12. I mean, yeah, I'm not missing anyone else apart from Dunks, Marshall, Sinclair, Goulden. I can take a premium there. It's fine. Okay. And then the only other rookie I guess it's probably worth talking about is Sincotta. But I wouldn't be going early on him. You're going to need a downgrade option next week. And I wasn't really impressed with too many of the other like rookies that were playing this week as first gamers. Hold on. Played less than 3 matches. Let's go by break even. So yeah, Seamus, which we talked about, is probably number 1 option. And then after him, if I don't know, maybe if Wagner holds slightly over Sturt, but I don't mind Sturt over Wagner. Yes, in Cotter for next week. Oh, Sam Simpson's the other one that you could look at next week, who's mature age. I just don't know if his spot holds. He was all right. And then Angwin debuted and scored well, but yeah, like not super sure about him either. But we might get him as an option. Lord's a no. And then, yeah, I don't think there's anyone else worth talking about that was a one gamer this week. You might be able to do one of Simpson or Angwin. All right, but I think I've waffled on a bit towards the end here, just getting stuck in my own trade. Sorry, I did not look at them at all before this, so I think it'll end up being Sinclair just as the value option. That pushes the rookies off field. I probably do want to get Mitchell on field, though. over like Green. So I've got to figure out how I can do that. It's probably moving Constable down back. Hold on, let's just undo changes. Because we will go through captain, vice captain, and team setup of stuff, of course, as well. Oh, the other option here is I get rid of someone else that isn't Wilmot. Like I don't want to get rid of Hollands though. Because I need like 2 more Ks. Have to be 253 more. I don't want to get rid of these guys that are making money. Oh, it's probably just still this. I wonder if I can do Cowan instead of Wilmot. Because I think Wilmot's job security is at least good. Sinclair, Day. I'll go Seamus because they'll try. Oh, and I need to actually fix the positioning of these as well. So Constable down back, Davey into the midfield. We'll go Seamus up front, and then we'll chuck in Day. Okay, so it has to be. This is an absolute trading nightmare. Has to be Wilmot. Constable has to go back, and then Day. All right, and then so complete. All right, this should be all in the right spot now, I think. So yeah, Seamus is probably an on-field option over Green, I would say, and Ryan has a okay matchup against Gold Coast. I mean, Wits is pretty good, but maybe he's someone I could play instead as well. Hopefully I can use the Constable loop, which is nice. So I can loop Cowan, which, I mean, who'd want to loop his score, but sure. Oh, wait, I still haven't done this right, have I? Because, wait, oh, no, this is fine. Oh, is it? Yeah, it's fine. Okay, because Davey comes off and then Day goes on. Sure. So then it's just, well, Sheasel, I guess, is back to rookie status, but Sheasel, Hollands, Green, and Chandler, and it's probably Mitchell over Green. Bench those two. Captain, vice captain this week will be, oh, actually, I've got Roberts. I can loop Johnson with Roberts, I guess, and take Johnson's score over Hollands if for some reason he scores well. Vice captain, captain this week. So I think every week now you have to consider English and Dacos as 1 and 2. So it looks like that for me. Like I don't see why I'd top off that. If you've got Laird, you've got the Pies matchup. I think I'd rather just have Dacos. If you've got Oliver, he's got North. And look, he didn't score well this week, but that was obviously flu affected, I'm guessing. His disposal was off, just a whole bunch of uncharacteristic stuff from Clary. So hopefully you heeded my advice and didn't jump on him at 700k, because we should get him for sub 650 next week, although he can go 170 on, well, his break even was 171, he went 178 on them last time. So look, that history could repeat itself, but I'm hoping he continues to drop another poor game and we get him below 650. Although how I'm going to get enough cash to get him, no clue. Because he's got Gold Coast and Hawks still after that as well. It's just a nice run. But yeah, I guess like given his history against North, 178, 116, 137, you could opt for a Oliver vice captain. I probably wouldn't leave him as your captain option, which means that you're not going Bont or English, which both look good against the Dogs. Lions play Fremantle, so I could see Neil going big on his own old side. I don't know what his history is against them. I assume it's good. Oh, it must have got tagged 87, and maybe they do that again this time with Aish 171 in the last 2. Dunkley could go decent against them as well, but I'd probably rather have Oliver, English, Bont over Dunkley, just given how his form's been. GWS play Sydney, so you're avoiding all of those. Darcy plays Brisbane, so you're probably avoiding that as a vice captain option. Yeah. Okay. I mean, maybe you could go Oliver captain. It's just that he's been a bit up and down, so I think I'd rather still put it on Dacos, and that'll be it. I think vice captain and captain will be pretty vanilla this week. Okay, well, I think that is everything for the round 6 review. Hopefully it's been insightful. If I've missed a player that you were hoping I would cover, whether it be a rookie, a trade in or trade out option, or whatever it may be, let me know. Otherwise, I will see you in the next one. Peace.